What's one financial decision that you're really proud of?
You don't need to buy anything because of the month on the calendar.
Here's everything I would do if I was trying to ruin my own financial future and make sure I was broke forever.
So today we're going to be straying off the path of most of the subjects on this channel and taking a look at people's best financial decisions. I do think you can learn a lot from listening to other people's mistakes, which is why I make those videos so often, but it still is good to hear more positive decisions and advice as well. We have a lot to go over today along with comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with one that I know people are talking about during this time of year.
You don't need to buy anything because of the month on the calendar. Just because the weather's getting cooler and the leaves are changing color doesn't make any corporation entitled to your money. We have been brainwashed as a society to do all of these high spending things because that's how corporations make themselves wealthy, by making broke losers out of people like you. And when you spend into all of this corporate nonsense, you become more broke. And when you buy into social norms and peer pressure, like putting giant skeletons in your front lawn, you give your money away to someone else and you hinder your ability to become wealthy. No one is entitled to your money because of the month on the calendar. The choice is yours. Choose wisely.
The giant skeleton comment I thought was pretty funny because recently I saw something in the news where somebody stole one of those giant skeletons off the front of somebody's yard. I mean, I know they're very expensive. They could cost hundreds of dollars, but there's some security footage of this person running off with this giant thing. I can't help but laugh. Anyway, as soon as you start getting into the more cooler seasons, that's when everybody starts getting new clothes, starts decorating for fall and even possibly winter. And I don't think I have to tell you how much it could hurt your finances, especially because my TikTok has a lot of overconsumption. A lot of the trends that we talk about on this channel, I get a ton of sponsored posts by Target and Walmart showing you everything you're supposed to buy for Halloween now. And within just a couple weeks, we'll be talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas, and the cycle just continues all year round. We have a comment from one of you guys here that goes very well with this. Every time I buy something, I think about how long I spent at work in exchange for it. So is that shopping trip at Home Goods to decorate your apartment or house yet again for the holidays really worth the hours you put in to make that money at a job that you most likely hate going to every day? I don't think so. Along with the declining quality of the products, they don't even last that long, but that's a topic for a video in and of itself. But so many people have problems with impulse buying.
You've got to stop spending money on clothes, perfume, and shoes. You've got so many outfits in your closet that you don't even wear. This is destroying your budget and keeping you away from your financial goals.
I'm not buying jewelry, perfume, and purses in 2026. Decluttering will really help you realize you don't need anything else. My problem is home decor. There you go. On top of it, the TikTok junk. And what I've seen many people start to do, especially when it comes to online shopping, is talked about in a comment from one of you guys. Whenever you see something online or on Amazon that you want, take a screenshot of it and put that picture into a folder on your phone. If you really want it or need it, you'll remember it. Which in a majority of cases, a few days or a few weeks go by and you completely forget that it even exists. But if you did purchase the item, the company already got the money. They won. Now your wallet's lighter and you have buyer's remorse. Now up next, we have a clip that I've talked about a few times throughout my channel, and I truly don't believe that this will even be a thing by the time my generation gets up to this age.
If you're relying on Social Security, do better, because the average Social Security check falls just shy of about $2,000 a month. And there's no guarantee this program will even be around when younger generations get there.
Yeah.
So do not rely on it. We take calls on the Ramsey Show all the time of people who thought it would be enough, or they just didn't save for whatever reason, and they're trying to live off of Social Security.
Yep.
It's a sad, scary scenario.
And that's happening regularly in 2025. What is it going to look like in 2045, 2055? That's why I think these videos are so important, becoming financially literate as early as possible, because not saving anything for the future and just hoping that you'll get a check every month once we're older is just honestly not the reality anymore. 36 here, started at 22 investing, fully expecting to get zero other of my own investment. If it's still there, 100% bonus. I'm in the same boat. I don't expect to get a dime for it, so I'm doing all of my own investments to hopefully retire in the future because I don't trust this working out for any of us down the line. My dad has worked since he was 14 or 15 and he's 62 with no retirement plans in sight because he still has a mortgage and his Social Security check is $800 a month. And that's exactly what I don't want to have happen when I'm older.
What's one financial decision that you're really proud of? Like looking back, you are like, that was the right move.
I'm about to be 36 and have my house paid off. Community college, contributing to my retirement aggressively at 22. I wish they taught this to kids in high school. Well, they're definitely going to need this now, especially looking at the last example, living with family and opening up a high yield savings account. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Buying our house back in 2018 where interest rates were 2.5. When I was making a lot of money, I didn't blow it. Now I'm 43 and completely debt-free homeowner. Opened up a Roth IRA and maxed it out as much as you can every year. Another person fully funded Roth and high yield savings account, loaded up your 401k. Best advice ever. I'm retired at 58. Don't buy anything you can't afford unless it's an appreciating asset. Vehicles are the worst investments. Cook your meals at home. Don't get sucked into consumerism. There were a ton of comments and I asked you guys something very similar. What's the best financial decisions you've made? Paying off my student loans while the interest was frozen, treating credit cards like debit cards, not getting car loans or using credit cards. Another person saying I paid off my student loans during the pause, all done and debt-free. Best financial decision that I made was going to community college before a 4-year university. And I know, especially around the subject of college right now, you not having any student loans puts you way ahead of the curve compared to many other people.
The person that doesn't want the mansion and doesn't want the Ferrari is as free and as happy as the person that worked off to get it. Is that your dream?
Yes.
Or is it the dream that you were programmed from society, from the news, from movies, from your parents, from all these other people to want for you?
And especially when we're talking about social media now, that's all we really see. I still think a vast majority of people would want those things because the implication of financial stability. If you could afford that big mansion and super fancy cars, it must mean you have a ton of money. Now, that's not always the reality in today's world, which is why we've seen example after example of celebrities or influencers going broke, when just a few months ago they were driving around in G-Wagons in LA with all the other rich people, right? Some people honestly do get influenced so much by others that they start going off the deep end and overspending on something that they might not actually truly want. And if you're trying to compare yourself to these types of people, it's basically a lose-lose situation.
The Joneses are broke. That nice shiny car, massive car payment, that beautiful house. They are house poor, trying to do multiple jobs to stay in that house. That beautiful vacation that you see posting, probably paid with credit cards and just paying minimum payments to get by on those cards. Stop comparing yourself and trying to be like the Joneses. Build wealth slowly and steadily. Take care of yourself. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Now, I do think more people are starting to realize that this is the case for many people that you see online, whether it is the celebrity types or even just your friends and family. So many people are hurting in this economy right now, especially when you kind of know the financial situations of extended family that you see going on crazy trips and all the photos on Facebook, right? How do you really think that they're funding this lifestyle? Chances are they didn't secretly win the lottery. Everything's just going on the credit cards. Now, this next clip primarily talks about stock investing as early as possible, but I really do think that this could be taken into just learning about finances as early as possible.
I don't care what humble background you come from. If you will just do something, don't stand still in your 20s, you will be successful just because the power of compounding growth is just that powerful. We know the typical American doesn't even figure out this concept till they're well into their 30s. Imagine our surprise when we find out the typical financial mutant is 25 years of age, has a wealth multiplier of 44 times.
Huge.
That's the head start, guys. That is why you can say, hey, these people are built differently. This is why the mutant fits. They're not falling into the traps that it seems like the typical Americans do.
But maybe you're listening to this and you're not 25. That's okay. And maybe you're not 30. That's okay. The absolute best time to have figured out money and to start taking it seriously was yesterday.
And we have seen examples of that on the channel as well, where people started realizing and taking their finances seriously, but they were pretty close to retirement age, 50, 55 years old, and it doesn't mean that you can start making your money work for you, but if you were doing it 20, 30 more years, you'd have significantly more money than you would today. I didn't start taking it seriously until I was around 21 or 22 years old, which I would say overall is pretty young, but imagine if I knew this kind of stuff when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, just getting out into the world. I'd be in a very good spot. So hopefully these types of videos on my channel will help other people, especially bringing in more of the entertainment, more of the drama, you know, a lot of the Caleb Hammer type clips, instead of it sounding like a very boring finance lecture that you just want to fall asleep to.
Here's everything I would do if I was trying to ruin my own financial future and make sure I was broke forever. I would be on DraftKings 24/7. I would DoorDash all of my meals. I would buy a brand new car with a huge car payment. I would find the nicest possible apartment I possibly could that I could get approved for. I would sign up to several credit cards and only barely pay the minimum monthly payment, missing a couple here and there. I would always make sure I'm buying something off a TikTok shop at least once or twice a month. I would obviously pay for every streaming service available. I would only shop at Whole Foods, and I would consume as much TikTok as physically possible.
So I think the only one that's really hurting me there is the TikTok content, because I gotta go through a lot of crap to find some good clips for these videos. Obviously, you shouldn't be doing anything he said, but you guys know me, I am the #1 hater of gambling, so I'll say it as many times as I possibly can. You are not going to outsmart the sports books and the casinos, because of the extremely small percentage of people that can do that end up getting banned completely and you can't bet at all. So there is literally no winning this situation. All of the crazy stories you probably seen on social media with the insane parlays, this guy put $16 down and somehow won $2 million, are most likely fabricated to try to get you to start gambling as well. Just light the money on fire, basically doing the same thing. Some of the comments from this video, I won't be 20 with a Denali Ultimate again. So it depends on if he's talking about a Sierra or a Yukon, but at minimum he's talking about a almost $90,000 vehicle to start without any of the extra special options. So you're most likely getting into a six-figure debt at the age of 20. This feud between you and DoorDash is legendary. I think it's pretty ridiculous too. I've never used it, but we could just move on to another one that I know people are getting tired of.
Subscription creep is murdering your budget. Take a look at your monthly statements. How many monthly reoccurring charges are there? Apple Plus, Hulu, Amazon Prime, right? All these charges plus your internet, it's coming out to what cable was, maybe more than it was 10 years ago. We have two ways to combat this. The first one is see if it's included in any of your services that you're already paying for, like your wireless carrier or AAA or whatever, I don't know. And then the second way is to rotate them. You don't need all four of them every month. Buy one this month, buy the next one next month, buy the one after that, the month after that, and then cancel each one as you go, except for the one you're currently using. You really only need one. You're not watching all four of them.
Especially there's a good percentage of time that you'll go on all of the streaming services and nothing will be on. You don't want to actually watch anything that they provide, so you put on a YouTube video instead. Now, I'm not trying to advertise for them, especially because I'm currently making a YouTube video. It's just something that I've always watched for, it feels like, almost all of my life. I'll have a video on in the background of some guy going over a video game that I have never played and will never play, that's 6 or 7 hours long, going through every little detail. And with the absolute insane amount of content that you could find on YouTube, I feel like it outweighs anything that you could find on any other streaming service. Again, this isn't an advertisement, obviously, because it really sounds like I'm trying to sell people, but what I'm really trying to say is that all of these subscriptions could really add up, especially when you don't fully utilize them. We have another comment from you guys talking about more media. I could rant so long about books. I read 100 books a year and rarely buy any. Maybe if I want to reread it or a few of my favorites, but I never buy new, always used. Use your local library or Google free libraries near you. This is from a previous example that we saw of people going through how many books they took out from their library and how much money it saved them overall. Because if you go to your local Barnes & Noble now, it's not like books are super cheap either. $20, $30, $40 for nice hardcovers, and then you get into all the different special editions and sprayed edges, and people really start collecting them like Stanley Cups. They don't even use them, and after a while you have a pretty sizable collection that could have been thousands of dollars in your bank account.
What's been the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your career? Two things. I live and die by saying you should learn how to downgrade your lifestyle so you can upgrade your life. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. 1 in 4 millionaires still live paycheck to paycheck because they refuse to downgrade their lifestyle for a moment so they can upgrade their life. Now, if you decide to do that, then my second piece of advice is you should only dump money into two things. Personal investment into you and investing into your company. That's it. You shouldn't be spending money anywhere else. If it's not to help you grow or your business grow, you should not be spending money until you have so much money that you don't know what to do with. The more money I put into me, the more money I make. The more money I put into my business, the more money my business makes. It's all about investing into two things, you and the business.
Now, I know that this started getting into the territory of the motivational entrepreneur. You should be working 24/7, no days off, the grind set. You guys know what I'm talking about. But that lifestyle creep can be extremely extremely dangerous. Even if you become a millionaire, some of them are still living paycheck to paycheck because they're spending wildly. They had to immediately go get a new construction build that was $1 million home, along with the Range Rover in the driveway, instead of reinvesting the money they made into either themselves or maybe the stock market and just letting that money compound until they didn't even know what to do with it. Then you could go crazy, right? But delayed gratification is almost non-existent in today's world.
Delete the food delivery apps. At the beginning of this year, I actually saw how much I spent on food delivery apps last year, and it pained me so much. I was like, I'm going all or nothing. I'm deleting the apps just for a while. I want to see how long I can go. As we all know, rent can be stupid expensive, especially here in Los Angeles. And I've already talked about this, but I am getting a new roommate. I'm not sure how long it's going to be for. It's either going to be for a few months, but it also could be up to a year, maybe longer. And just that one decision is honestly going to save me anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000. Coming in at number 2, you guys may have seen this, but my lease was up for my car. It was not a good financial decision to buy it. As much as I loved my little sports car, I decided to go back to my 2011 Nissan Sentra, which is the first car I ever had. Coming in at number 1, I do have retirement and investments and all that stuff set up for me, and honestly, we just went in and fully rearranged everything, reassessed stuff and rebudgeted things, and that has also saved me so much money.
I honestly can't get over the fact that having a roommate for a few months or possibly a year could save her up to $30,000. I don't think I'd ever be able to justify living in that high cost of living area, even if I made an unbelievable amount of money. I don't know, that's just me though. But she did talk about going back to her paid off car, so we can move on to the next clip and I could talk about my recent experience.
I don't know about you guys, but the more that I see this car market get more and more expensive, the more I just tell myself, I'm keeping my hand-me-down 2008 Toyota Solara till the day it dies. It's at almost $250K right now. I'm gonna make this last till 300, maybe more. We'll see.
Okay, so that's what I always said in any of the car-related videos. I had a 2015 Civic that was paid off with, I believe, a little bit over 117,000 miles that I was just going to ride into the sunset, like that clip. Unfortunately, the day that I recorded my previous video that I put up on Sunday, I ended up getting T-boned by somebody and totaling the car. But regardless, things do happen in life that you don't expect, obviously. And now, unfortunately, I won't be driving my Honda Civic until the wheels fall off.
Bro, after 2 weeks, I thought having this car would fill a hole in my life. Bro, no, it did not. That's one thing that, I feel like people realize after buying their, dream cars, is that all these materialistic things are extremely fleeting. And the sooner you realize that, the much better off you'll be. Now, I'm not saying buying this car was a mistake. Not at all. I love it. It's great. But is it what I thought it was? Absolutely not. The actual feeling of leading up to buying the car was probably 10 times better than actually having it. And yes, the first, I would say 3 or 4 days, it does feel amazing having it. And then once that feeling starts to subside, I'm not gonna lie, bro, low-key scares you. Oh my gosh, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be like. So before buying your dream car, just know that this is not gonna be your forever source of happiness, along with any other materialistic thing. You could be buying a 1990 Honda as your first car or an SVJ. The feeling is absolutely fleeting.
Now, this doesn't have to pertain to only cars, of course, any material items. You get the new shoes that you want, or the purse, something expensive that you wanted for a while. Maybe it's cool for the first few days, first few weeks, but then it becomes the norm. And you could possibly have another target that's even more expensive. So the new cool thing that you just spent all your money on isn't even something that's cool to you anymore. That's why I made so many different videos on buyer's remorse, because it's becoming so common in today's world.
All right, so I live with my mom. And I'll be real, it used to take me a lot to just say that sentence right there. But after a while, I started realizing that I'm very appreciative to be able to go back and actually do that, to have that option to do that. Because a lot of people that's in my position that lost their jobs, they got to fend for themselves and figure out how to make money just like that in order to keep the place that they're in. They don't get that fresh reset button to go back to a place and be like, let me start over and plan for this to happen again and at a later time. I will admit, I had pride. I tried to stay in my career 2-3 more months after me losing my job, and I was out here fighting to do that. And don't get me wrong, everybody can fight, everybody can do that. But if I'm in a situation where I don't have to do that, I'd rather not do that. And it took too much pride in me to be yeah, let me just go back home.
Now, I wanted to put this in the video because of how different this was taken a little bit over a year ago. When I first started my channel, I made a video talking about a lot of people in their 20s and 30s going back and living with their parents because the job market and the economy, the cost of living was all getting worse. And I got a lot of heat in the comments because of it. People saying that anybody who goes back, they're a bum, they're just riding on the coattails of their parents, they're not working hard enough. I mean, I heard it all. Now, at the tail end of 2025, it has completely turned around. Everybody's saying if you could go back to your parents to save a little bit more money if you have the opportunity, that you should 100% do this. The economy's terrible right now. Nobody could save any money if you could get some sort of leg up. Please go and do that, which is exactly what I said about a year ago. I know that not everybody has this opportunity, but especially in this climate, there is no room for being prideful. You're just going to start drowning financially, especially if you did get laid off, how difficult it is to find a new job. There is nothing wrong going back and living with your parents to build up your finances again.
I'm saying it. Girl math encourages broke behavior. I have $1,000 to spend today because I'm doing returns, so everything will be free, haha. Like, no, pay off your credit card, put it in investments. What are we doing? And I get that it's a joke and it's relatable, but that's the problem. Like, I was justifying purchases because it was girl math. But I did recently make a girl math purchase that I actually think makes sense. So earlier this year, I bought 3 of those viral Old Navy cardigans that everyone was wearing. I had a red one, I have a white cable knit one, and then I have a blue one. One has already been donated. One looks like trash because I wear it and I wash it and it does not wash well. And the other one's okay because I'm scared to wear it because then I'm gonna have to wash it and I know it's gonna fall apart. And for reference, I think those cardigans are made of polyester, elastane, and like a little bit of cotton. But I recently saw that Banana Republic was having a sale and I picked up this cardigan. It's 80% cotton and 20% silk. And for reference, I paid $120 for that cardigan, and for the 3 Old Navy cardigans, I probably paid around $100 for all 3. So naturally it makes sense. If you can get a cardigan for $35, why would you buy one for $120? But I can barely wear those cardigans, so that was like $100 down the drain. Whereas this cardigan is timeless. I love the silhouette. The materials are amazing. It's not going to disintegrate in the wash. Ergo, my price per wear on this banana cardigan is actually going to be so much better than my price per wear on any of the Old Navy cardigans.
Okay, so I think there's a few things you could take away from this. Of course, the girl math just being terrible for your wallet, buying something you don't really need or can't really afford and justifying it in a ton of different ways. Maybe the amount that you're going to wear it, or that you're returning other previously bought items, so it's free money. I mean, there are a ton of excuses that we've heard before, but the other thing to talk about is buying quality over quantity. I know that's easier said than done right now because so many companies' products are just in the toilet. And at least in my opinion, when it comes to clothing, I always wreck my stuff, so there's no need for me to get something very expensive. I know it's going to get ruined one way or another, so I'll just get my stuff from the thrift store or something like that. Let alone the fact that some of the golf shirts that I have, like RLX, are $110 a shirt if you actually buy it from the manufacturer, and I bought mine for like $5. I would never be able to justify that price for a shirt that's made out of polyester and spandex, but I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent. If you can find something that truly has the quality behind it, I would definitely purchase it even if it is a little bit more costly, especially compared to a lot of the Temu level stuff that we see today. Another comment from you guys here: best financial decision was marrying a guy who is also frugal. We tracked every expense and lived beneath our means. I think this is probably one of the best decisions that you can make in your entire life, just being on the same financial page.
The partner you choose for life is the biggest decision you have to make in life and biggest decision you make for your financial future as well. And if we are so different with our finances, if we think so differently, then am I making the best decision for myself long term? Am I making the best decision?
I don't think there's anything wrong with considering this question. And I don't think there's anything wrong with considering it out loud. This is the biggest financial decision anybody ever makes, is the partner that they choose. And too often we spend more time talking about what type of food we like, what kind of vacation we want, what our wedding doilies are going to look like. But we don't actually get honest about, how do you think about money? How do I think about it? And how are we going to create this tapestry together of our life?
If you watch any of the call-ins on the Dave Ramsey Show or the guests on Caleb Hammer's Financial Audit, this problem shows up constantly. Somebody in the relationship is spending all the money while the other one is trying to save. But it's almost impossible to outsave somebody's spending habits in today's world. So if you guys aren't on the same page financially, it's almost guaranteed that it's going to end in flames down the road in some sort of divorce, and both of your financial lives are going to be ruined for quite a while. But I've been recording for a while now, so we'll just finish off with this example.
Now, we do actually have some data on what the top 10% and top 1% usually save as a percentage of their income, and we can use that data as a benchmark. So this study was done in 2010 to 2012. That's the latest data I could find. But you can see with this graph that the top 1% saves roughly 38% of their income, and that's pretty impressive. It also kind of makes sense because rent, food, and transportation take up a smaller percentage of their total income pie, because most of those things you can't spend that much money on them. It's not like they exponentially increase. Now, the top 10%, these are the people that are saving roughly 15% of their income. Now, clearly we can see that if we earn more money, that's the easiest way to save more. The remaining 90%, I wish it didn't just bucket everyone else into the remaining 90%, their savings rate is basically zero. So if you were to ask me how much of your paycheck should you be saving, well, I would just tell you, you should probably strive for the top 1% or 38% of your income.
So obviously that's easier said than done, but I wanted to put this in because if you're able to save any money right now, you're most likely in a better financial spot than most of the people in the country right now. So if you see any of those graphs or charts saying that you should have this amount of money by this age for retirement at this, or your net worth will be a certain amount of money in the future, and you're not currently at what you're supposed to be in your age bracket, if you're saving any amount of money from your paycheck after all the bills are paid, you're doing a very good job right now. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.